Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So I was kind of concerned about the fact that this year the Christmas will be allowed. I know that for some of you this might sound a little bit annoying to hear, and I know that almost all of us would have liked to spend, let's say, a different Christmas. So I was kind of annoyed at the fact that UK seemed to be allowing people to gather at Christmas, even though it didn't make any sense because, as far as I understand, the world seemed much closer now to eradicate this virus, if you will. And it baffled me because it seemed that the politicians didn't have the balls to tell people that this Christmas is not going to happen. I tried to stay away from politics, but I understood that if one side would have had the courage to tell to the crowd that you're not allowed to spend Christmas this year, people will get mad and they're not going to vote them again. But I thought, when it comes about worldwide crisis, politics should not be involved anymore, and the leaders of the world are meant to take decisions based on the safety of the most of us, let's say. And it just didn't add up to me that it's safe right now to allow people to spend Christmas just because Christmas happens to be in December. So I was left wondering, why not let's postpone this Christmas and just start to celebrate in January, if you will, after the majority of frail people have been vaccinated. And that was like my little rant one night in the kitchen, let's say. I went on Twitter and I actually tweeted to Boris Johnson, or I like to call it Joris Bonson. And obviously I don't believe that my tweet has changed their opinions or what they were going to do anyway. So I was kind of glad that Christmas wasn't allowed in the end. And obviously that's not good for everyone. I mean, granted, it will save people from dying, but I am aware that some people might not have a next Christmas because of illnesses. Yeah, because some of us will not be alive next Christmas for various reasons that perhaps we're not aware of them yet. So, my take on this was that I am truly grateful that I haven't been as affected as a lot of people. And I was already working from home before all this started. However, when things started to get bad, maybe at the beginning of March, I can't deny that a feeling of anxiety has laid quite heavily on my chest back then, and the uncertainty of the situation has put a lot of stress onto me that time. I really found myself enjoying the empty streets and how the planet suddenly started to feel quiet. And I realized that we never heard that kind of quiet before, especially if you live in a town like the majority of people nowadays. You realize that you are not accustomed to that quiet, and the only quiet you used to hear was at night, and maybe not even then if you happen to live in one of the busiest cities of the world. So weirdly, I really found myself enjoying that, and I was grateful for every moment I could run like a nutcase on the roads. Having said that, now is December and the year is almost over. I wanted to express a little bit of my thoughts on this, and I became aware how much we used to take things for granted. I got ashamed at the fact that I think a lot of people from the West seem to have this superiority complex, and we're all kind of driven by our ego, and we allow ourselves to believe that we are better than the person near us. And I apologize to the universe that my arrogance dared to believe that I was better than anyone else. And I've grown to be grateful for the service that people have done for the world. I thought I was better than everyone that basically has built the world and keeps the world from not going to chaos or to dirt. My point was that I know that this year might have been lonesome for many of you, and I cannot begin to imagine the loss you've experienced. And I know a lot of people have lost so much during these times. If there's anything good that happened to you this year, if anyone was kind to you in any way, shape, or form, if you could only stop for a second to acknowledge their presence or kindness in your life, and if you could take a little bit from that energy and give it away to someone else and try to make their day better. I know that people are rude. I know that people are sad and they're feeling frustrated with their life. Thus, they're gonna start and throw all that bitterness to the world and to you. But if we could only stop for a second and think about how are we perpetuating the negativity in the world. And yes, the world is an unfair place and it can be tragic and malicious at times. I do believe that there's also potentially a lot of goodness that has happened and it's still happening. Otherwise, the world cannot be sustained. I've also become aware of how people are pulling away from each other and they're looking to be more independent from one another and believing that being separate will make our lives better. I think that's just another of ego's lies. And if you could stop for a second and think for yourself rather than listening to commercials, your friends or your mom or anyone else that could tell you how the world is, if you could have the courage to look down in your heart and to admit to your flaws and to one day to accept that whatever happened to you in your life and to finally to let go. I'm not sure what you're gonna make of this message. It's a mix of gratitude and awareness and a little bit of pleading for us humans to realize that regardless of shopping and holidays and drinking and socializing and any other hobbies we used to have post pandemic and Tinder and all that, if we could realize that we are all flawed and we are all the same humans, if we could only find the courage to connect with ourselves and with each other, I think we would all be more healthy and ultimately more at peace with ourselves, our community, family, and with the world. I am truly grateful for my 340 subscribers that have had patience to listen to me until now. If you're listening to this, regardless of what happened to you or who you are worth it as a person. The question becomes, what are you going to do with your life? And taking responsibility of one's choices and flaws will make our life better. Thank you, everyone that has worked through this year. Thank you, everyone that missed hours of the night to keep people healthy and stable and keep the world without going to shit. I apologize. I've taken for granted the fact that the world is clean and is fed and it's a safer place than it has ever been. Yep, I wish you, whoever you are, to be courageous, to face up to yourself and to whatever lives has for you, and to realize that even though we all lack something, more or less, within us lies an immense potential, and we are the only people that have access to that. Realizing that focusing on oneself will improve yourself and the world around you. May you all be healthy love, and ease. Thank you. See ya.